morning. Good morning. Why does it always look like I'm sideways? Good morning, good people. Today is Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. This is Department of Career Services, where we help our students and interested people on their journey through this life, built on the premise that we are not just atoms in the void, that we are made in the image of God, and God is spirit. But we have been given this gift of a unique body with unique attributes, a brain that is the most complicated thing in the universe other than the universe, and emotions that are unlike the emotions of any other creatures on Earth. We've been given these as a gift, which is a unmerited, well, maybe it's merited. The gift could be merited. Hey, you earned this gift, but there's no expectation of return. A true gift has no expectation of getting anything back. It is better to give than receive attitude. You did something that made me feel good, or I'm just giving you this gift. I'm feeling magnificent. What is the word? Munificent. I'm feeling extra special today, so I'm just going to dole out these gifts to people. They're going to make me feel good. You've done nothing to earn it. Maybe you have, but I don't have anything in return. The giving is what makes me feel good. That's the perspective from the giver. It's not an investment in you. It's not a loan. It's not mine, and I'm letting you borrow it. It is your gift. These are your gifts. You can do with it whatever you want. And the recipient, the perspective from the recipient is to honor the gift. Yeah, it's your gift. You don't own anything. You can do anything you want with it. You can give it to someone else. You can destroy it. You can ignore it. You can give it back. You can do whatever you want. You have free will. But the best thing, the thing that fits the categorical imperative, is if we honor the gift. If what happened when people gave gifts, if the law was you need to just destroy it, discard it, abandon it, if that was the law, if we applied the categorical imperative, so someone gives you a gift and the law is you don't honor the gift, you destroy it, you give it away, you do something else. And then we say, would the world be a better place if when somebody received a gift, they didn't honor it, they destroyed it, they used it, they gave it away? Would the world be a better place? And I would say no, because that tends to discourage gift giving. What's the point of giving a gift if they're not going to honor the gift? It's just a waste of money. So the categorical imperative works best is if you give a gift, if the law was someone gives you a gift, you need to honor the gift, use it for its intended purpose, say. If that's the what the law is, and you say, would the world be a better place? Yeah, because that would encourage gift giving. All right, no reciprocity involved. Okay, next. All right, so that's why we're here, to help our students and interested people on this journey through life. And there's 4 areas that we focus on: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. We reserve Saturday and Sunday for the spiritual, so we mainly focus on physical, mental, and emotional. And of those 3, we mainly focus on the mental and the emotional. And our little soundbite regarding emotional is, it's important to control your emotions, because if you don't control your emotions, don't worry, someone else probably will, and they'll probably take you out of the game. Right, so you're going to have regret for what you did, regret for what you didn't do. And anyway, we proceed. Our theme of today: why is IQ so important? That is a big one. This is Day 2 of week 1. Week 1, day 2, and our neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Why is IQ so important? Yesterday, we talked about brain scans, what happens when you damage your brain, and why it's important to not damage your brain. Let's see how hot this is. Very hot, but not too hot. It's important to not damage your brain, but if you do damage your brain, the next most important thing is to repair your brain through a Brain Smart program. And this is a Brain Smart program. Today we're going to talk a little bit about IQ, the importance of knowing your IQ. Why is IQ important? Well, before that, kind of like, how do we define IQ? What do we mean when we say IQ? Why is it important? Why is it important to know your IQ? And I think the next thing would be, when you meet people, when you observe people, to have a conscious question in your brain of, what is this person's IQ? Are they average, slightly below, slightly above, way above? What's their IQ? Because if you have a sense of their IQ, you will know a lot about that person. You can know a lot about that person. So don't take it for granted. It's not there's a lot of non-conscious stuff, evaluating of people, judging people, but try to bring it to a conscious level. All right, so theme of today, once again, why is IQ so important? Before that, though, let's see advice from an 80-year-old. Never give up on anybody. Miracles happen every day. Okay, let's go to Seth Godin. What does Seth have to say? The thing about pressure. What's the thing about pressure? It doesn't happen all at once, and it doesn't work suddenly. At home, a home pressure cooker doesn't use more electricity than a hot pot, and it isn't as fast as a microwave. Instead, it builds up over time, producing results with a surprisingly small amount of effort. We're impatient, and so we don't consistently apply pressure when we have the chance, and we often crumple under pressure when it arrives. Consistent, gradual, and persistent are the unsung forces of cultural change. Consistent, gradual, and persistent. Okay, cool. That is a good one. Think about pressure. Builds up over time. It doesn't take a lot of energy. So in a pot, it takes no more energy to create a pressure cooker than an open pot. But a pressure cooker is way more efficient. Okay, cool. Let's see, we have anything else on our hit parade? Our prayer for our Evangelia Prima 4-week lesson plan. Today, day 2, week 1, Mark 1:15. Repent and believe in the good news. Repent, just to have a complete change of heart and mind and soul. I will never do that again. And believe in the good news, the gospel, the kingdom of heaven. Doesn't just say believe, it says repent. So turn away from your old beliefs and believe in the kingdom of heaven. Can't have one foot in the boat and one foot not in the boat. All righty then. So last night I had a great experience, approximately 4-hour, almost 4-hour, 3.5-hour experience that brought me back to the mid-'80s in Silicon Valley, where you'd have maybe 4 guys eating at Denny's, talking about what if. posing and answering what-if questions. And the guys there were guys who probably were doing this in the 80s. 3 of them at least. Yeah, it was quite exciting. Great comeback. The thing that was different, though, is on the table was a laptop. In the mid-80s, there were no laptops in Denny's at that time. Maybe somebody had a Osborne or something like that, you know, a sewing machine-sized computer, but you didn't see laptops in Denny's in the early 80s, early to mid 80s. So, but they're talking about business ideas. Hey, what if this, what if that? And that's how it was last night. Really good. Then we continued to the next place. And yeah, and it was good. What it was about isn't so important, but it's one of those Silicon Valley mid 80s. I don't know how long it went after that because yeah, I moved to San Diego. But it was good talking about things that could fundamentally change life and how it's just right out there. We can touch it, but it has exceeded our grasp. So now can we extend our reach so we can grasp it? Very good, very exciting. And I am grateful for that opportunity. And it was good. Okay. So let's talk about IQ, according to Jordan Peterson, who I guess is not doing well health-wise. But why is IQ so important? So the TED Talk today is Jordan Peterson talking about IQ. He also talks about Wonderlic, a company called Wonderlic, which are one of the leading companies in doing IQ testing. But he'll say, but they don't call it IQ testing. They call it general cognitive intelligence. But it's really an IQ test. And he talks about 2 types of IQ, fluid and crystallized. And I think the best description of that, the best metaphor would be crystallized IQ is what you know. It's like a bucket and how full the bucket is. Fluid IQ is more like the pump that fills the bucket. If the pump is broken, it's going to be hard to fill the bucket. If the pump is really good, you might, who knows, overflow the bucket. I don't know. Now, if we focus on crystallized IQ for a second, the bucket, an IQ test would be to put a line on the bucket somewhere and identify it with a point in time. So, the SAT would be an example of a crystallized IQ test. And the idea is a perfect SAT score would be a line up on the side of the bucket that went around the bucket. And a perfect score would be at this particular age, as a senior in high school, if you get to this level or above, let's say the top of the line, that means you know everything that you should know by this age. You're lacking in nothing. You got a perfect SAT score. Now you could be way above the line. It doesn't go above the line. They're just trying to measure here at this point to an arbitrarily determined point that, let's say, okay, guys, let's create this test and let's say here is the perfect score and here's the level of knowledge you need to have to do that. So probably adds in maybe pre-calculus, algebra for sure, geometry, maths, etc. And in terms of English, stuff like that. Okay, so crystallized knowledge is the knowledge that you know, have learned over time. It's what you know. Think of it as what is stored in your brain. That's crystallized. Now, yesterday we learned from Daniel Amen that if you damage your brain, that's like damaging the bucket. It's like putting holes in the bucket. A brain smart program is two things. One, the goal is to sort of try to repair the bucket, but it's more of getting the pump focused, getting the pump to work, the fluid intelligence to work with stuff that was in the bucket before that's leaking out. Go back to that stuff. Fill the bucket up again with the stuff that's leaking out, as opposed to new stuff. So if you were a pro football player and you have brain damage from playing football, it's kind of bad if somebody walks up and says, "Hey, champ, could I have your autograph?" And you're like, who am I? I saw something like that with a boxer with, I think it was Leonard Spanks, Leon or Leonard Spanks. A kid walked up to him in Denny's and, "Hey, champ, could I have your autograph?" And he's sitting there nice and pleasantly, but you can tell brain damage had a helper with him. And it's kind of like, yeah, who am I? So the fluid intelligence, the pump would be used. Maybe go back, watch videos of yourself, watch interviews of yourself, look at the trophies you've won, relearn. When did I get that? How did I get it? Et cetera, et cetera. Because at that age and in that state, you don't really need a lot of new knowledge, but you want to retain what you once had. Boom. Okay. Well, that is IQ per Jordan Peterson, very much summarized. Okay. So why is it so important? Well, for our purposes, IQ is important because every job has an IQ range, that your IQ has to be at least here to be able to do the job. And if it's over this, it becomes counterproductive. And maybe we can talk about that. So the idea is know your IQ and compare your IQ to the jobs where your IQ is at the 75th percentile. So it's not 50-50. You're not right in the middle. You're at the 75th percentile. So that means the job is not hard and there's still challenge in it, but you've kind of mastered, you're a good employee. Whereas if you're at 50%, you're kind of like, man, he's not good, he's not bad, he's just average. If your IQ is down here, if let's say your IQ is right at the very bottom of what is required or below it, you are the idiot. And he's going to blow, he doesn't know what he's doing. Why does he still work here? Type of thing. And when you go home, you're not going to feel good about the job, type of thing. So know your IQ, find a job that it is here. Now, yeah, it could be a little bit lower because as you get better at the job, it gets easier. But I think that's factored in also. So we have the Wonderlic tests and we have the grading sheet. So we used to do this, but it was a very humbling thing where people would, before the test, would say, "Oh yeah, I dropped out of school because it was too easy for me." Not really. They dropped out of school because they did things like maybe drugs, they damaged their brain, and the fluid IQ part didn't really work, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't wasn't good. Like, hey, I used to be smart. I'm not smart. Whatever. So, so we used to do that, but people thought their IQ was here. They took the 12-minute 50-question IQ test, Wonderlic test, and had a hard time. Not lower than they were lower than average, like significantly lower than average. And for too many people, that was too much of a shock, that we were not prepared to build them back up. So, and it's always a big hassle dealing with people after the test because they argue with the test results. No, that can't be right because I'm a genius. Well, in your mind, you're a genius. In your school-sized kingdom, you're a genius. But to everybody who doesn't know you, who meets you for the first time, who's interviewing you for a job, you're subpar, right? Kind of, sort of by definition, is very few people coming out of prison are highly educated. State prison are highly educated, and probably federal prison as a percentage. Very few highly educated. Okay, well, I see we're at time. That is time times such a runic rhyme. We're going to say cut. Tomorrow we're going to talk about addiction, one of the big ones. Addiction. And cut.